So welcome on board for all of you. And this is Ankita here from Education Street. And today I'm going to roll out a lot of information on two popular degrees which a lot of students look forward to study, and that's Masters in Public Health and Pharmacy. So let's start the session. And as I'm the speaker for today's session, I'll quickly like to introduce myself because that's how we connect to each other and we are aware that who and what is that person who's going to impart you with the information. So coming back to me, I'm Ankita Thakkar. I'm the founder of Education Street. I started Education Street in 2010 as I was genuinely interested towards mentoring students. Personally, I'm an IT engineer. Post that, worked as a software engineer, then leaded myself to do an MBA in University of Leeds, United Kingdom. After that, I was recruited by British Petroleum London and I was working there for a good time. Post that, I had a huge interest in starting something in education and counseling. So I also did a diploma in counseling from UK Council as well. And that brought me to the start of Education Street in 2010. And I love to say that it's been a decade, 10 years, glorious years, I would put, because I have thoroughly enjoyed every bit of it because I completely love mentoring students. I use the word mentoring because I actually want to play, and I play a very, very crucial role for a lot of students who are indecisive or decisive, but not very sure and confident of what choices they can make when they want to go abroad. So saying this, it's been a long journey. Personally, I'm a mother to a 3-year-old daughter now and a wife to a very hustling businessman. I'm personally very fixated with meditation, self-help books and reading, and I love traveling. Who doesn't? It's almost been 28 plus countries that I have traveled so far. So it's been a complete, great journey across. So this is about me, and today's agenda is what I would like you all to know and understand. I'm going to talk about Masters in Public Health and Pharmacy. I'm going to talk about application material required to go to US, university selection, how do I go about doing that, credit systems in US, which you all, I'm sure, are completely unaware, and I really want to explain that to you. US education cost and return of investment, and the job trends. Okay, so these are exactly what I'm looking forward, and we are really looking forward to cover all this in another 45 minutes to 50 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to be quite rapid and brief, but with huge amount of information which you would rather not get in normal forums and webinars. So it's a very specific and a very focused webinar which I'm going to run for you. Firstly, what are the top reasons why a student considers to go to US? Yes, there are varied countries, US, UK, Australia, Canada, a lot of options which we also counsel for. But today as a session is for US, let me focus on the positive of US. So typically US focuses on quality of education and not quantity. So when you go for masters, they provide you the niche education, which is way too practical because top tech companies invest in the education and the infrastructure of the universities. Hence, a lot of seniors and cousins must have told you about it, that US is a very practical education and you learn a lot. This is exactly why you learn a lot. Third, there are enough opportunities in public health and pharmacy for everybody who's joined in today to know that there are varied areas, specializations, and concepts which will really take you to really good job opportunities. In fact, I am going to share the salaries in public health, pharmacy, and all of that will let you know that the return on investment in US is way too higher. And then, of course, the last point, which is choose your own subjects. I would say that is the point where you get enough freedom. You're allowed to choose a lot of concepts. You may be a pharmacy student, but you can study biostatistics. You can go for health informatics. You can go for epidemiology. There are so many things that you can do together. And that is why US has so many universities offering you such wonderful programs which are industry updated and absolutely a delight to go through and study. Okay, so before you choose your majors, look both public health and pharmacy. There are a lot of majors and concepts which you can go through. Now, my question would be, how do I choose? So, the question back to you would be, what you're good at. So, suppose if you're a medicine student, you're an MBBS, you're a dentist, or you're a pharmacy student, or you're a plain BSc biology or a chemistry student, all of you can go for both these programs. Okay, but which one to select typically is a choice that you need to understand and make. A lot of you took up the poll, and I see that the poll says that maximum of you are looking for pharmacy. So, yes, what you're good at is the first thing that you need to understand. Second, are you good at doing it for the next 5 years? No one does something for the entire lifetime. So, I would say, yes, you should look out that are you comfortable in this area for the next 5 years? Then do not follow what is trending. Oh, someone told me veterinary medicine is something which is very, very highly paid. Guys, understand, are you interested in being a veterinary medicine expert? That's exactly what the question should be back, not what is trending. And the last thing is choose and research over it. Today is the starting point because I'm going to throw a lot of light on all these areas, websites, and information which you can go out and try to study and understand whether this is exactly what you want to do or no. Okay, so now coming out to US, there are two types of masters in US: MS and MS in engineering or professional engineering. MS is with thesis, professional engineering is without thesis. That means the last year, the last semester is also taught with taught subjects. There is no component of research. So these are two areas. A lot of students told me I'm looking out for PhD. If you have done a master's already in US, yes, you can directly go for a PhD. But if you have not done a master's in India or anywhere, you first need to do a master's, and you typically have to go for an MS and not a master's in engineering or master's in professional degree. Okay, so this is how the two different kind of degrees are available. In public health and pharmacy, typically you would all have MS with thesis as a component. Guys, as we are proceeding, all the new people who have joined in, my team has shared links about Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You may follow us and like us for all the information that we share day to day. So now coming back to the syllabus. So every course, every MS program has core subjects and electives. So as I said in the start, in US, you don't have a lot of concept of subjects. You may typically study 12 to 15 subjects, out of which you guys, you have only 2 or 3 core subjects. Rest all is electives. That is how you develop your specialization. So that's why I said US gives you a lot of freedom. Just imagine 10 to 12 subjects you can select on your own. Have you ever got this freedom in your bachelor's out here? No, because it is always very rigid and stringent. No way that I'm demeaning Indian education, but this is exactly what a person looks when he's going for masters, because he's quite capable to understand and decide what he wants to study. So this is why US is one of the major attraction for students. Firstly, I'm going to start with masters in public health. Okay, so there are a lot of students for public health. So I would not explain or define public health because I'm sure you all are aware of it because you chose to attend this webinar for it. So I'm assuming you are already in the ideology of what public health is. But let me tell something. 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic prompted a healthcare response of unprecedented scale. We all know COVID changed the entire healthcare system, and I won't be surprised for the next 5 years, 10 years, our entire future, we are never going to compromise on healthcare. So are you understanding the importance of all of you who are looking out to go for healthcare? Because every country, every government is going to have huge budgets for healthcare. So millions of people around the world quickly adopted strategies of self-quarantining and social distancing to slow the spread of the coronavirus and limit its impact. So typically public health is a root of a healthcare system, as we all know. It takes care of safe water, healthy starts, food inspections, disaster response, disease prevention, health alerts, vaccines. You know about vaccines now, right? So never ever we had so much importance where an entire population has to be vaccinated. And as we all know, this is not going to end after first round. It is going to be every year now. So vaccines, clean air, this is exactly what are the main pillars of public health. And that's exactly what public health believes in, prevention rather than, treatment. So this is where the students of public health would definitely look forward to study and work upon. This action would have been impossible without experts trained to identify infectious diseases, develop policies to mitigate their spread, and lead life-saving communication efforts. All of this is the work of a public health professional. So students, if you're looking to be in public health, this is your role. This is where you would be utilized. And as you see, this has utmost importance, and we all have realized that health is the mother of all things. And that's why a health professional or a public health professional is going to be a huge demand in future. So what exactly do you do in public health in masters? The core subjects of public health would be leadership in public health, community health benefits, public health administration, management of health data, environmental health, world health also we have to study, health communications, governance policy, and principles of epidemiology, right? So guys, among these, there would be 2 to 3 subjects which are core, but public health offers so many specializations and electives. So some of you asked about health informatics. Yes, health informatics is one of the specialization of public health. So at any point, you can take a snapshot of this webinar and tag us at Education Street on Instagram. You have a surprise waiting for you. So now coming back to the specializations: global health, environmental health science, occupational health, health policy, maternal and child health, biostatistics, epidemiology, social and behavioral sciences, disaster management, health services administration, community health, and nutrition. If you are from nutrition background, you're from public health background, you're from dentistry, medicine, you're from pharmacy background, you're from chemistry, biology, all of you are acceptable to go for public health. Okay, so it is a very big area with so many specialization that it's a wonderful program to go for. Okay, now let's talk for public health students. I have a lot of things further also, like the job roles, salaries, and everything. So hold on, I'm going to cover everything for you. Now I'm going to talk about a pharmacy student. So when you're looking out to go to US, all the pharmacy students, there are 4 kind of degrees. Please understand this. Okay, PharmD. PharmD is basically in US typically like a bachelor. You start after your 12 to do PharmD, which is almost like a 5 to 6 years degree. So you may not opt for it. It is not a PhD in pharmacy. PharmD is a separate concept like DDS and stuff. It's a doctorate of pharmacy, but it is not PhD. PhDs are different. So one is PharmD, second is MS in pharmacy, MS in pharmaceuticals, or MS in regulatory affairs. To be honest, as an international student and as an Indian student, you would have enough opportunities as MS in pharmaceuticals and regulatory affairs. I am going to share a lot of concepts about these as well. Okay, so first of all, understand pharmacy is a licensed place from where a registered pharmacist dispenses medicines and counsels the patient on proper use of the medicines, utilizing the knowledge of pharmaceutical science. So pharmacy is a lot related to medicines. I'm going to explain that further as well. Okay. Pharmaceutical science is not just about manufacturing, but a holistic knowledge about how, when, why, after effects of medicines. So it is a lot related to the science and the business side of it. For becoming a pharmacist in USA, it is mandatory to have a PharmD, So what I mentioned earlier, you have to have a PharmD, which is a doctorate program. So if you have already done a B Pharm in India, you have to get yourself registered by AACP, go for a master's in pharmacy, clear the levels of being a registered pharmacist, and then work as a pharmacist. I'm going to talk about that as well. Though you can still get into industry and work under similar job roles without PharmD. So basically, if you don't want to spend a lot of time clear the licensure of a pharmacist, it is always good, which international students do, and that's exactly what we recommend, is to go for pharmaceutical sciences or pharma econometrics or regulatory affairs. Okay, so you will get a lot of jobs into pharma companies. Now, what are the difference between a pharmacy and a pharmaceutical science? So as you see, pharmacy is dispensing of drugs and counsel patients about the drugs. So basically you work in pharmacies, hospital, healthcare facilities, research, pharmaceutical industries, government, colleges and universities. You interact with patients directly and healthcare professionals. Pharmacy is a licensure job, so you definitely have to do a licensure. How? I am going to talk about it. So you need to be very skillful in communication, patient care, and ethics. Now, what is pharmaceutical sciences? Pharmaceutical sciences is basically drug discovery and development. So it is related to research and development and the business side. Okay. Now you work in the pharmaceutical industry, research labs, colleges, and universities. You interact with research scientists, industrial partners, and you should be skilled in math, science, lab techniques, and problem solving. Pharmaceutical sciences is the best possible place for international students to go study and work immediately. But if you're looking to work as a pharmacist, then it's a little longer process, because you have a steps of 4 or 5 things to become a licensure pharmacist out there. Okay, so I'm going to cover that as well. Guys, at any point you can take a snapshot of the PowerPoint and tag us at Education Street on Insta, and that's exactly where you will get a surprise from ourselves as well, from Education Street. Okay, so now the core subjects in pharmacy or pharmaceuticals. So as I explained public health earlier, pharmacy, you have molecular medicines, pharma econometrics, drug development, social and administrative policy, drug pricing, pharmacology, chemistry, and biostatistics. So these are the core concepts of pharmacy or pharmaceutical sciences. The specializations are again a lot there as well. You can go into regulatory affairs, cosmetics, you can go into industrial pharmacy, you can go into veterinary drugs, you can go into drug development or drug economics. So guys, to be very honest, it's quite interesting to go into pharmaceutical sciences because you're involved into the business side of it. So there's a huge money into it, because you bring in development, you bring in sales, you bring in strategies. So you act like a lot as a consultant also to pharma companies. So this could also be a very, very good area to go in for. All the pharma company students and pharmacy students, this is one website which you definitely have to go and check, which is AACP for US, American Association of Colleges of Pharmacy. All information is laid down there. So if you have any doubts, you can go and check, and that's exactly where all the things are given. There are a lot of regulatory bodies in US which are also there for all the drug development and policies. The Masters in Regulatory Affairs is that kind of degree where you regulate drugs, where you understand how and what the norms are, the policies are, the governance is, where the vaccines have to go. All these things come under regulatory affairs. It is also involving a lot of law concepts related to drug laws. So this is very, very interesting for students who want to be strategists and also involve themselves into the entire movement of drugs in the entire country. Okay, now coming back to the how do I become a pharmacist? So pharmaceutical sciences, regulatory affairs do not require you to have a licensure. But if you go for PharmD or you go for masters in pharmacy, you need to also become eventually a pharmacist. So these are the steps. Okay, so first you have to take up a FPGEE, which is a foreign pharmacy graduate equivalency. Basically, it's an IELTS or a TOEFL exam. It's an English exam, that how fluent you are in English. Second, you have to do an internship, which is almost 2 years, 1500 hours. So you need to do an internship under a pharmacist, a trained pharmacist, okay, a licensed pharmacist. After that, you have to take up an exam called as NAPLEX, which is North American Pharmacist Licensure Examination by National Association Boards of Pharmacy. So you clear that exam, and once you clear that, then you have to apply for a multi-state exam, which is a state specific. So say I'm in California, I have to take a California exam. So that is exactly what you have to do, and then you become a registered pharmacist. So as I am reading out, you can understand it's a lengthier process. So to turn out to be a licensure pharmacist, it is a very, very long process. Hence, a lot of Indian students go for pharmaceutical sciences or public health, or they go for regulatory affairs, because that keeps you into pharma company and still get you the best opportunities. Okay, so this is how you can turn out to become a pharmacist in case if you still wish to, which will take you 2 to 3 years. Now let's talk about the application material for both the programs. GRE is optional, but if you take up GRE, there are a lot of opportunities which you can take. It's business as usual for fall 22. For spring 22, a lot of universities still have waivers, but we have seen for fall 22, there are equal number of universities which have waivers, but a good number would be there if you take up GRE with good admission. So I would highly recommend you to take up GRE, TOEFL or IELTS, either of the exam. All of you, masters in public health and pharmacy, you have to get your transcripts evaluated by a third party in US called as WES, which takes 1 month time. There's an entire process to do it, but we at Education Street definitely help you about how to go about doing it. And that's exactly what we serve as counselors. Then we require a statement of purpose, which is an essay about you, what you have done, how you have done, why you want to do this program, and all of these documentation. Fifth, we require letter of recommendation, which is 3 letter of recommendations from your internship or study area to recommend them that you are a good student. Again, we have editing services for SOP and letter of recommendation. And in our premium package of our counseling, we support you with both the needs. Then we have resume, extracurriculars, financial documents, and the 9th point is basically for all the public health students. There's a body called as SOFAs, which is a body which is a centralized application portal for all public health school. So all public health school of US and Canada, we have to apply through SOFAs. How, what, this is exactly what we help you and support you. We help you to fill up the forms, create your SOFA account, submit the application, your transcript evaluation, all of this, your recommendation to SOFAs, everything is to SOFAs. So this is how the process of application material and portal go to US. Now there are almost 4,000 plus universities in US. But of course, we have to select few. Typically, you will apply to 7 to 8 universities, and the universities has to be selected according to your grades. So what you have done in your 8 semesters or 6 semesters or whatever semesters you had, 10 semesters, we have to take an aggregate of those. It's a very, very important thing. Aggregate is the most important aspect for all US universities. Second is GRE and TOEFL. So either of it, if you have not taken GRE, then only TOEFL. But if you take, then GRE and TOEFL helps us to select the universities better. Your project and internship and extracurriculars. The most 2 important part, which is like 85% of your application, would be your aggregate and your GRE and TOEFL. So these are very, very important, and hence you cannot miss those. Now, how many universities do I apply for? So as I said, there are 4,000 plus university. We cannot apply to all of them. So we have to select the right 5 to 7 universities in the category of safe, moderate, and ambitious. Now, a lot of students go and fall for counselors or a lot of marketing tactics where the counselors say we will apply for free. Now, how does it come free? Because they are recruiters of the universities. They typically engage you and push you to the universities where they are tied up. We at Education Street, in the entire PowerPoint where we are sharing the facts, figures, information, nowhere I'm talking about any particular universities, because I am a counselor in real sense and not a recruiter for the university. I work for you and I'm a paid counselor. So saying that, I pick the right 5 to 7 neutral universities, which is based on your performance, your profile, and the best university possible. And typically the application fee would range from $50 to $100. Saying that $75 is an average cost and we apply for 7 universities, $525 become an expense and 37,000 rupees becomes an application charge. So if you see, if you don't have a right counselor, you will either fall for free universities or you will fall for universities which are wrong. Now this way, both the way you lose money, and also the biggest loss is the opportunity of going to a good university. So do not consider few free techniques, because nothing comes for free. But we still go for it because it's a very, very lucrative thing for short-term people. If you are a long-term people and you're looking forward to go to a better and a good university with a good information that we provide you, Education Street would definitely welcome you for the best of the best things that can happen to you. Okay. Now coming about the education system in US, typically there are daily classes, but they are only 3 to 4 classes. Sorry, they are not daily classes. You have 3 courses every semester, and each course has around 1.5 hour lecture weekly. So that makes around 4.5 hours of classes per week. So it may sound like a very, very interesting thing, because you have only 5 hours or 6 hours lectures a week, but typically it's wrong. You have a lot of assignments and projects, so that accounts the rest of the time that you have free. You have a lot of assignments, you have to go do your projects, your assignments, stay in the library, read a lot of book, because there's no specific book. So there's a huge amount of work hours which go behind that. And your GPA accounts to the performance that you do, not only in about one course, but basically in all courses. And it also has not one exam, but it has multiple level of assignments. So that's exactly why you have to be very, very thorough. And there is no one textbook, as I mentioned, so you have to do an extensive reading, and that's exactly what student enjoys the most. So the education system in US is quite different. To add to the education system, let me introduce you to the credit systems in US. Please hear this out very carefully, because it's very technical, but this is something which you would keep getting a lot of time when you're looking for US universities. So whenever you're going to US university, you would see a MPH or an M Pharma or a Masters in Pharmaceutical Science is either between 30 to 40 credits. So in India, we have one subject which we either have a CGPA out of 10 or 100 percentages. But when you go to US, you typically have one subject which is aligned to credits. So the credits would be, say, around 3 to 4 credits. Okay. So say for this example, 3 credits. Okay. So one subject is equal to 3 credits. So if you clear that one subject, you get 3 credits. To get a master's degree, which is 30 credits, you have to clear 10 subjects. Now, one subject is equal to credits. And now, so you clear it with 40% or 99%, you still get those 3 credits. But if you have to get good marks or a GPA, which is out of 4, you need to perform good in all the 10 subjects. So one is that you have to clear. Second is you have to perform. So there is a credit system. So whenever you go to a US university, the fees are not directly mentioned on the website. You have to go on the tuition fee section, where they talk about your department. 1 credit is equal to $1,000. So if your master's is, say, example for 30 credits, 30 into $1,000, $30,000 become your tuition fee. So this is how the credit systems in US work. One subject is equal to 3 credits, and one subject you have to perform well enough so that you get a good GPA. So now let's talk about the cost of education. We all look forward to go to US. So we definitely need to understand what is the costing, right? So in this case, the costing is basically 12 lakh to 18 lakh rupees a year. So public health or pharmacy, both of them, 12 lakh to 18 lakh rupees a year, and both the degrees are 2-year programs. So into 2. The fees vary due to the rankings, the lot of things. Higher the rankings, higher the fees. If it is a private university, higher the fees. State university, 20 to 30% lesser fees. So all of you who want to make it cost effective, please apply for state universities. Okay. So like Ohio State University, California State University, Oregon State University. These are all state university where you need to apply for. Even the location. So say if it is a Boston, New York or California universities, of course the cost is going to be higher because they are city universities. Why don't you apply for remote places? Ohio, Michigan, Indianapolis, Illinois. These are places where the fees would be relatively lesser. So everything is in control if you know what you want. So as a counselor, when you tell me, okay, this is my budget, this is what I want to do, I will come across and let you know which universities you should apply for. And the fourth point is credits, as I explained to you earlier. Credits basically, if your master's is also say about 40 credits, then of course the fees is going to be higher, because if one credit is 1,000 and 40 credits, it become 40,000 tuition fees. But if it is 30, 35, it is going to be lesser. So this is how credits is very important to understand in US. Now coming to the living expenses. So typically you spend around 7 to 9 lakh rupees a year in US, depending again on four things. That is your rent, your groceries, utility bills and ad hoc. So rent would be $300 to $400, but of course, if it is cities, it's going to be higher. So again, to save money, you have to share your accommodation. The key is to share accommodation so that you can reduce your living cost. Groceries, utility bills and ad hoc. So this is how the living expenses go. So typically for masters in pharmacy or public health, you're looking at a cost for 2 years in US around 40 to 45 lakhs. Now this sounds very huge, very high for a lot of you, but I will also calculate and show you how you can return this money. Okay, so I've got you covered for everything. So let's talk about how to remove living expenses. I mentioned 7 to 9 lakh rupees to be an average cost. So in this case, you are allowed as a student to work 20 hours a week. First year, you're allowed to work only on campus. Second year, you're allowed to work off campus as well. Okay, so this is how it is. So first year, not everybody gets job, but most of you will if you are proactive and you do it as soon as possible once you have an offer. You get paid around $10 to $14. So per week is $10 into 20 hours, so $200. Per month, $200 into 4 weeks, $800. Yearly, it becomes $800 into 12 months, $9,600. So guys, a simple maths, but makes you realize that 7 lakh rupees is what you can earn by working part-time. So guys, this is very, very crucial for you to understand. Also share all this information with your parents, because typically they are the ones who are most worried about how, when, how much is required. So that's exactly why I'm sharing the maths and also the information so that you're well prepared. So this is how Education Street pays a lot of attention to every student who's going abroad. And that's exactly how we are showing you the information so that you know this is exactly how our counseling also goes by. Now let's calculate the return on investment. So all of you who are worried about how will I return this money, let's do that maths as well. So typically your investment is around say $50,000. Your average salary as a public health professional or a pharmacist is going to be way higher than $70,000. But I'm just throwing this. I'm going to show you the chart of salaries as well. But say average salary is 70,000. The tax says 33%. A lot of taxes are lesser than this, but I've calculated the highest. So 2,300 minus, so your income becomes $46,900 a year. Your expenses now, as you're a student, you may have higher lifestyle, you may need a car, a bigger place. So your lifestyle expenses may be higher, and I've given you a lot of lavish budget, which is $2,000 per month. So into 12, $24,000 per year. You're going to spend lesser than that, but still, let's calculate $24,000. So income minus expenses, your savings is going to be around $22,900. So guys, all of you who are worried about this expense, you are going to go for a country which offers you huge rewards, and you would return the money that you've invested in next 2 to 3 years. Which investment gives you this high returns? None of them. So this is exactly which gives you a return on investment. Your career is at huge peak, your career progression. pharma industry, public health professional. There are so many job opportunities which I just want to show you in my next slide. So all the students for public health, this is exactly what the salaries are and the roles are. You may be working as an epidemiologist or a community health worker, an environmental scientist, a health educator, a medical and health services manager, health specialist teacher, healthcare social workers, mental health counselor, natural sciences managers. Everywhere the salary is way higher. Okay, typically students work as an epidemiologist or an environmental scientist or a medical health service manager, and you see the salaries are $70,000 plus. So this is how your salaries range, and there's a huge rise because healthcare has never seen such a huge requirement. We all need you. So in this case, we all need you for any kind of future pandemic, epidemic, vaccines. There are so many things, and there's so much of things that you need to work upon, say water, earth quality, land quality, and that's exactly where public health is going in. So typically the job roles are invaried. A lot of students ask what kind of organization or job I would be working in. So typically you would be working in healthcare providers like hospitals, doctors, community health centers. It could be public safety organization like police, fire, emergency. Then also charity organization like food banks, public assistance, education, colleges, schools, youth centers, philanthropic, so NGOs. So there are a lot of job areas. Typically, government is the highest recruiter. For all the pharmacy students, you could be working in government sectors. So you could be in hospital, railway, drug controller. You could be working in industrial sectors. So it could be production and manufacturing of pharma companies, packaging, designing, quality control, quality assurance assistants. And it could be in private sectors like lecturers, medical wholesaler, medical representative, hospital pharmacist, as a consultant, a lot of things which you can look out for. So guys, there is enough opportunities in both the areas. The salaries of pharmacy are way too higher because yes, it's one of the area which is paid the most. So 80,000 plus to $145,000 a year is exactly what most of the people range, and they are getting the salaries from. So if you are a B Pharm student from here and you go for a pharmaceutical sciences or these areas, you definitely have very good job opportunities for yourself. There's a concept called as OPT, which is optional practical training in US. So all the students worried about what is the stay back option. Both public health and pharmacy comes under STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and maths. So you have 2 plus 3 years stay back option. So first year, you after your masters, you get 1 year OPT, which is called post completion OPT. After that, you also get an OPT extension, which is 24 months. So typically you have 3 years to get an H1B, 3 lottery system to get an H1B. So you have no risk of returning back. A lot of myths, a lot of wrong information is given, which confuses and also gives you a wrong notion about US. So saying this, US is a huge land of opportunities for all public health professional and pharmacy students. If you're looking for it, grab it. This is my email ID, ankita@educationstate.in. This is the number that you can connect with us. @educationstate on Insta is our handle. So thank you so much to follow us. Thank you so much for attending this. I would love that you leave a feedback to me in the chat function, whether it served the purpose or not, because there were 2 topics and I really had to do justice to both of them. So please let me know if it was useful for you or not. And if not, please let me know what missed. I would definitely try to take it up.